Welcome to Here Today, Gone Tomorrow, the show that takes a look at internet trends that came and went in the blink of an eye.
Like Pogs.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm Lena Kefame. I'm here to help connect the dots.
I'm Mike Leafa, your host.
See what's beyond the headlines.
And today we're diving deep into NFTs.
Oh.
Remember those?
I do, vaguely.
For a minute there, it felt like everyone was buying and selling and talking about these digital tokens.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was like the internet collectively lost its mind.
It really was a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Like celebrities shilling cartoon apes and digital art selling for millions.
It came out of nowhere.
It really did seem to come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
take over the world, and just as quickly as it rose, it seems to fade away.
So for our listeners who might be scratching their heads right now,
Yeah.
what exactly is an NFT?
NFT stands for non-fungible token.
Okay.
Essentially, it's a digital certificate of ownership.
Okay.
It's stored on a blockchain, which is a decentralized and tamper-proof ledger. And this means that even though anyone can copy a digital file,
Sure.
the NFT represents the unique original.
So like a digital fingerprint.
Kind of like a digital fingerprint.
Okay, so I can have a million copies of that viral cat meme,
Right.
but only one person can own the NFT.
Precisely. And for a while there, people were willing to pay a lot of money for those bragging rights of owning those digital originals.
Bragging rights. So like instead of trading baseball cards,
Yeah,
we're all clamoring for pixelated plus with mohawks.
you got it.
And it's not just art.
No.
People were buying and selling NFTs for everything from virtual real estate in these online worlds to highlight reels from NBA games.
Wild.
Someone paid money to say they own a LeBron James dunk.
Yeah.
Talk about a slam dunk of a bad investment.
Well, at the time, it seemed like a revolutionary concept.
Really?
People were buying into this idea of digital scarcity and ownership in a world where everything could be copied and shared infinitely. It was like the Wild West of digital assets, and everyone was rushing to stake their claim.
Some of those early NFT projects were pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like, remember CryptoKitties?
Oh, yeah.
Those digital cats were selling for thousands of dollars back in 2017.
It's wild looking
It
back.
feels like a fever dream.
Yeah. CryptoKitties was definitely a precursor to the NFT boom that we saw just a few years later.
Oh, yeah.
It showed the potential for creating digital scarcity and fostering a sense of ownership in the digital realm, and then things really took off.
From 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah.
It was like watching a rocket launch.
Okay.
Instead of a satellite, it's a bunch of pixelated apes heading into the digital stratosphere.
There was a lot of hype and excitement surrounding that launch, but what goes up?
Must come down.
Yeah.
You're saying this doesn't have a happy ending for those folks who bought virtual pet rocks.
Let's just say the NFT market took a bit of a tumble.
Okay, buckle up, listeners,
Ah.
because in part 2, we're going to explore what caused that tumble and see if there's anything left of the NFT dream besides a pile of digital dust.
So remember all that hype we were talking about?
It was palpable.
Well, you can't build a sustainable market on hype alone.
What happened?
Well,
Did the internet collectively wake up and realize they were sold a bridge to nowhere?
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
You see, the initial wave of NFT buyers was largely driven by speculation.
What,
People were betting that the value of their NFTs would skyrocket,
like Bitcoin?
just like we saw in the early days of Bitcoin.
The good old buy low, sell high.
Yeah,
With pixelated apes instead of currency.
exactly. But the problem is NFTs don't have the same kind of inherent value as something like Bitcoin.
Ah.
They were essentially digital collectibles.
Who are?
No real-world application.
So like Beanie Babies.
Exactly.
Everyone thought they'd be worth a fortune.
Precisely. And just like any speculative bubble, once that hype died down and people realized they were holding on to digital assets with no intrinsic value,
Yeah.
the market crashed.
Ouch.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
That's gotta hurt for all those folks.
And to make matters worse, a number of factors contributed to the downfall of the NFT market.
Okay, let's unpack those factors.
Okay.
What went wrong?
First, there were environmental concerns.
Okay.
Creating and verifying NFTs on a blockchain required a massive amount of energy.
So every time someone minted a new NFT, it was like firing up a small power plant.
You get the idea.
Just to add another pixelated punk to the blockchain.
Yeah, the carbon footprint of NFTs became a major concern for a lot of investors and consumers.
And then there were the scams.
Oh, yeah.
All those stories about influencers promoting shady NFT projects.
Unfortunately, yeah. The lack of regulation in those early days made it ripe for exploitation.
Right,
People
right.
were blinded by the hype and ended up investing in projects that were nothing more than elaborate schemes to separate them from their money.
It's like the Wild West all over again.
Exactly.
Instead of cowboys and saloons,
Yeah.
it's pixelated avatars and Discord servers.
Right, and let's not forget the oversaturation of the market.
Oh yeah, you said everyone and their dog was trying to sell NFTs.
Yeah, well, that flood of new projects diluted the market, made it difficult for legitimate projects to stand out.
Like trying to find a needle in a haystack made entirely of needles.
Exactly. And as the market became flooded with NFTs of questionable value, prices began to plummet.
So all those pixelated punks and virtual pet rocks that people thought would make them rich
Yeah,
ended up being
just that.
pixelated punks and virtual pet rocks.
The bubble burst, the hype faded, and the NFT market was left in a state of disarray.
Okay, so the NFT dream might be dead.
Well,
But is there anything left of this craze, or are we just sifting through the digital wreckage?
well, it's not quite a wasteland out there.
Okay.
There's still some embers glowing,
Uh-huh.
and maybe, just maybe, those embers could ignite something new.
Ooh, a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Guess we'll have to wait for part 3 to find out if those embers are just a flicker of hope or the start of a whole new fire. So listener, we journeyed through the rise and the spectacular crash of the NFT market.
We saw it all.
But is this really the end of the story?
I don't think so.
Could there be a future for NFTs beyond these pixelated punks and virtual pet rocks?
Well, while the initial hype has faded and that speculative bubble has burst, the underlying technology of NFTs still has some potential.
So you're saying there might be life after death for NFTs?
There might be.
Those embers we were talking about could spark something interesting.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me some examples. What kind of utility are we talking about here?
Well, we touched on fractional ownership of real estate earlier.
Right.
Imagine if you could own a tiny piece of a luxury condo
Through an MFT?
through an NFT.
Okay.
It could make high-end real estate more accessible to smaller investors.
So instead of buying a whole virtual pet rock, I could buy a fraction of a virtual mansion.
It's not just about virtual assets, though.
Okay.
NFTs could revolutionize ticketing for concerts and events.
Okay.
Imagine an NFT that not only grants you entry, but also unlocks exclusive content, backstage access, or even a meet and greet with the artist.
No more worrying about fake tickets or scalpers. Okay, that's something I could get behind.
And think about supply chains.
Okay.
NFTs could be used to track the provenance of products, ensuring authenticity and ethical sourcing. Imagine scanning an NFT tag on your coffee beans and instantly verifying their journey from farm to cup.
So I could finally know for sure if my fair trade coffee is actually fair trade.
It's all about transparency and trust.
Mm.
And these are just a few examples that potential applications of NFTs are vast and still being explored.
So what's holding back this NFT revolution 2.0? Are we just waiting for someone to come up with that killer app that will make everyone realize the true potential of this technology?
Well, there's still some hurdles to overcome. The environmental concerns surrounding blockchain technology haven't gone away, although more sustainable solutions are emerging.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get to a point where minting an NFT doesn't feel like I'm single-handedly destroying the planet.
And the issue of regulation is crucial.
Right.
We need clear guidelines and consumer protections to prevent scams and rug pulls.
Yeah, it would be nice to know that when I'm buying an NFT, I'm not just throwing money into a digital black hole.
Education is also key.
Yeah.
The more people understand about blockchain technology and how NFTs work, the less susceptible they'll be to scams, and the more likely they'll be to embrace the potential of this technology.
So where does this leave us? Should our listeners be rushing out to buy an NFT right now, or should they wait and see how things play out?
I wouldn't necessarily say rush out, but it's definitely a space worth watching. The NFT landscape is still evolving, and there's a lot of experimentation and innovation happening.
Who knows what the next big breakthrough will be?
It's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds. Just like everything else in the digital world, it's a constant evolution.
That brings us back to the name of our show, doesn't it?
It does.
Here today, gone tomorrow.
The internet moves fast.
And what's hot today might be ancient history tomorrow.
That's right.
So whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just dipping your toes into the digital waters, remember to stay curious, do your research, and never invest more than you can afford to lose, because in the world of internet trends, nothing is guaranteed.
Always be prepared for the next big thing, because it's just around the corner.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the wild world of NFTs. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.